Today I'll be talking about some upcoming new horror films for the month of October. We have quite a few new films and they're actually ones that I'm really excited about. First is VHS Halloween. This will be the 8th installment in the VHS franchise. These are all anthology films, so each one has a set of short films, usually all surrounding the same aesthetic. For example, we have VHS 94, which is all set in the 90s, VHS 85, which is all set in the 80s, and then some of them are more focused on a certain subgenre, like for instance VHS Beyond is kind of sci-fi cosmic horror-y. This new film is a set of 6 Halloween themed videotapes. It's described to turn Trick or Treat into a fight for survival. I'm really excited as I love a Halloween themed horror film. Obviously we already have the film Trick or Treat, which is an anthology film set around Halloween, so I'm kind of hoping for a similar vibe, something to really get me in the spooky season spirit. I do find the VHS films hit or miss. They're not really films that I go to rewatch, but I do feel like this could be one that I would rewatch every October if it ends up being decent. You can stream VHS Halloween on Shudder on October 3rd. Next is the film Good Boy. This is a unique take on a haunted house story. I don't think it's anything that has been done before. A loyal dog and its owner move house to a remote new home, but as they settle in, a dark entity becomes more present. The supernatural being has sinister motives for the man Todd, but his brave dog steps up. So this whole film is done from the POV of the dog, not actually through the dog's eyes. We are just kind of following the dog round, but also seeing what the dog sees. It looks really creepy from the trailer. Obviously, I'm going to be spending the whole film worrying about the dog, but hopefully we'll have a happy ending. The originality is what really makes me want to watch this film, obviously, as well as the cute dog. Good Boy hits cinemas on the 3rd. Next we have Him. This is actually a sports horror film, which is really interesting as we just don't see many of these, especially men's sports. I don't think I've ever watched a men's sports horror film. I'm not into sports, but I do love original horror and the trailer has me intrigued. In Him, we follow a young and upcoming footballer who gets invited to train with a famous legendary quarterback. Whilst training together, the quarterback takes them both through a journey delving into the darker side of fame and power. This is directed by Justin Tipping. It was picked up by Monkey Paw Productions with Jordan Peele as a producer. This will also be hitting cinemas on the 3rd. Next is Shelby Oaks. A woman's absolute desperation to find her long-lost sister sees the re-emergence of their childhood imaginary demon, and she starts to realise that maybe this demon wasn't so imaginary. Some of this film is found footage, which is one of my favourite subgenres in horror. I think it can be the scariest subgenre. I think the found footage parts are from VHS tapes and the rest of the film is just shot traditionally. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I'm gathering from the little things that I've read. I have actually avoided the trailer for this one, but I've seen little snips and the posters that look absolutely terrifying. I know that this is a supernatural mystery film and it was actually funded through Kickstarter. This is a film that I've been waiting to watch for what feels like years. I've heard really good reviews when it hit film festivals, so ever since that I have been really eager to check it out. This is another one that will hit cinemas on October 3rd. The next film is Bone Lake. A couple take a trip away for a secluded romantic vacation, but they end up having to share the estate that they're staying at with another mysterious couple. What they thought was going to be a dream getaway ends up being a fight for survival. This is described as an erotic thriller, psychological horror with also comedy elements. I'm kind of hoping that the comedy elements are kind of done in the same way as like Scream and films like that, where it's not overly comical, but it just like has that comical undertone. Bone Lake is meant to be very bloody, so I'm hoping for some interesting kills and creative gore. for. This is also released on the 3rd, but going straight to VOD. I'm not quite sure if this is the date for everywhere. It may just be the States, but I'm really hoping we get it around the same time in the UK. The next film I actually only recently heard about, and that is Coyotes. A family end up trapped in their Hollywood home when natural disaster hits with a raging wildfire and a unexpected pack of coyotes. This is a horror comedy. I'm kind of expecting it to be an animal attack film. With the coyotes, I'm kind of hoping for something similar to Cocaine Bear. This again is released on the 3rd. It's meant to hit cinemas, but again, this is the US date, so I'm not entirely sure about the UK and the rest of the world. The next film is called Vicious. I really can't find much about this film online. There isn't a trailer from when I am making this video in September, but the synopsis sounds really strange and interesting. So in Vicious, we follow a woman who spends the night fighting for her life as she slips down a rabbit hole contained inside a gift that she gets from a late night visitor. That is literally as the synopsis reads. I usually try to rewrite them into my own words when I can find more about these films, but I can't find anything else about this film. I am so intrigued by this premise. I'm desperate to know what's inside the gift and who the late night visitor is, but I guess I will just have to wait to watch it. Vicious is coming to VOD on the 10th. It will be streaming on Paramount+. The next film isn't horror, it's a psychological thriller, dark comedy, and the synopsis sounds quite twisted. The film is called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Linda's life is utter chaos with everything happening at once. Her child is struck with a mysterious illness, her husband is absent, there's a missing person, and the relationship that she has with her therapist is becoming more and more hostile. From reviews and things I've read online, this is said to be an emotionally honest portrayal of motherhood, and from all of the things I've listed in the synopsis, it does sound like that. This film hits cinemas on the 10th. Next is the film Other. After the recent news of her mother's death, Alice returns to her childhood home where her mum spent her last days. Things seem strange when she's there, and she soon realizes that the house is completely rigged with surveillance, catching Alice's every move. So this is another one that I couldn't find too much about online, but there was a trailer, so I did watch it. It wasn't a film that I knew anything about before planning for this video, so I am really glad that I watched the trailer because it's made me really excited. It looks really good and really creepy. I think there's some paranormal activity going on, and I think that Alice is going to uncover some secrets in her mother's home. Other will be available to stream on Shudder from the 17th. Next is quite a popular one, and that is The Black Phone 2. This is of course the sequel to the 2021 film where we follow the villain of The Grabber who kidnaps children. There is also supernatural elements. We follow Finn and Gwen again in the second film. In the first film they were the two main characters because Finn was actually the child that The Grabber kidnapped. Now it's years later and Finn is 17, but he is still struggling with everything that he went through. His sister Gwen is having nightmares and disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp. The siblings decide to travel to the camp to see if they can solve the mystery within these visions. When they get there, they're confronted once again with the Grabber. This sounds very Silent Hill, with the having dreams and visions of a place and then going to this place to try to solve the mystery. The Black Phone 2 is also set in the snow, which does also have resemblance to Silent Hill, although in Silent Hill it's not snowing, it is ash falling from the sky instead. This second installment seems like it's taken the supernatural elements from the first film and really gone big with it. I'm not a massive fan of the first film. I just found it a little bit slow and anticlimactic, but I know a lot of people did enjoy it. I really do like the villain of The Grabber, so I am excited about seeing him again. His masks are really cool where he changes them or changes parts of them to have different expressions. I found that to be really unique. I guess I would just have to wait and see what this next one is like. The Black Phone 2 comes to cinemas on the 17th. So next we have a reimagining of a Mary Shelley story, Frankenstein. This is done by Del Toro. We follow the story of Dr. Frankenstein, who is an amazing scientist that brings a monstrous creature to life. This is a story that a lot of us are familiar with, but this time it's done by Del Toro, who is amazing with his visuals and his storytelling. This comes out at the perfect time because having a monster film in October, I just know that this will have a really fun and spooky vibe. So this is actually having a limited cinema release on the 17th of October, and then it will come to Netflix at the beginning of November. I'm really hoping that this comes to a cinema near me. Next is Hell House LLC Lineage. Hell House LLC is a franchise, and this is actually the 5th installment. All the films are found footage apart from this one. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that because that is such a main element to this franchise. I am interested that they're doing something different though. So in this film we follow Vanessa as she has a near-death experience that causes her nightmares. People keep dying around her in mysterious ways, and she discovers her connection to some unknown murders and the locations that they took place. Going off of the previous films in this franchise, I think we can expect some really creepy moments, definitely some jump scares. Do I think that this one is going to be as scary as the other ones because it's not found footage? Maybe not, but I may be proven wrong. Either way, I'm really excited to see where this new film takes the franchise. You can stream this on Shudder from the 30th. There of course are more releases in October, but these are the ones that I am just the most excited about. Let me know which of these upcoming films you are most excited about, and as always, I'll see you again in another one soon.